welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and today I'm going to do my March TBR. So it's been a couple of months into the new year, but this is my first TBR. I just came back with a couple of videos in February. This is the first video where I'm actually sitting down and talking to you about my plans for March. I do have to do this kind of quickly because my kid is sleeping and it's in between nap times. So I want to get this done before he screams. The first book slash plan I have for the month of March is actually moving over from February, and that is the first book for the Professor Kelsey's Book Club. This is a book club I host with my two friends, Bobby and Justin, where we read a book and then we talk about it live. And those videos remain on my channel. I don't think I have a playlist for them, which reminds me that I should do that and then link that up above. So if I remember to do so, it will be there. The book for February, which we're going to talk about in March, is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I love N.K. Jemisin, and this was a new book when I bought it. This is from, I think this is their most recent work. Basically follows a world where the cities are sort of personified, and the city of New York has 6 individuals that personify it. So we have a boy named Manhattan who can sense the beating heart of the city and its history and its power. Then in the Bronx, we have a gallery director who discovers a strange graffiti scattered throughout the city and the paint is calling to her. And then in Brooklyn, we have a politician and a mother who finds that she can hear the song of her city, and they are not the only ones. Every great city has a soul. I'm just excited to read this. This is very, very different from what I read with N.K. Jemisin before, which was the Broken Earth trilogy, and I also read a short story collection from her. This is just completely different, completely new, and the idea of it that the cities are sort of personified interests me because I'm sort of wondering like how that's possible, how N.K. Jemisin is going to tackle that like visualization for readers. So this is our book club pick, and I am obviously behind, but I plan to kind of finish this within the next few days. Then the next set of books I want to read are for Books and Lala's Buzzword Challenge and Book Cover Challenge. If you don't know, every year Kayla over at Books and Lala has the Buzzword Challenge, and this was to read books that have a specific buzzword in the title. The challenge has sort of evolved this year to also have stuff found on covers. So there's 2 books for every month, and these are the 2 that I've selected for the month of March. The book cover challenge is to have books on the cover, and for that I decided to go with The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This is a book I've had on my TBR, Jesus Lord, I don't know how long it's been, honestly. This was published in 2006. I don't think I got it in 2006, but definitely like 2015, 2016 when I discovered BookTube for sure. This is very similar to Taylor Jenkins Reid's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but this was obviously written first, which is maybe a little suspicious, I don't know. This follows an older author named Vida Winter who is currently sick, so she's ready to sort of reveal her life story and the secrets behind her life. And in order to do so, she calls upon this like up-and-coming author named Margaret, and Margaret is very mesmerized by Vida's life. Vida along with Margaret are going to sort of tackle the ghosts that haunt her past and discovering like the truth within themselves. I'm very interested to read this. I've heard very good things about it. This definitely feels like a book I will enjoy. I don't know if it's necessarily truthfully like a horror-y gothic vibe or if it's just like historical fiction, literary fiction, I don't know, but I'm into it and I will be picking this up hopefully soon. And then for the buzzword for the month of March, the word is thing. So I decided to go with Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno. This is a YA novel. I really like Katrina Leno as a YA author, so I'm definitely thinking I will likely enjoy this. So Lottie is the type of teenager that never takes risks. She always plays it safe because she's always scared that she's going to get hurt. Unfortunately, one day Lottie's aunt Helen dies of cancer, and her death causes Lottie to spiral out of control. Helen was the author of some young adult books, and because of that, in her will, Aunt Helen leaves Lottie with a sort of writing challenge. So this just seems very sweet. Obviously, I think it'll be quite emotional as well. It involves an author, it involves a writing challenge. These are like buzzwords for me. I think I could really enjoy this one. And also this will be included in a vlog that I guess I'll talk about next. This year, one of my goals is to dwindle down my YA TBR. It is too big. I want it gone. I don't really read YA that much anymore. When I do, it is often like emotional, thoughtful books like this one. I really want to tackle the like fantasy that I have on my TBR. Not that fantasy is not thoughtful and whimsical and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that I want to tackle some of the books that I don't necessarily think I'll automatically give 5 stars. I'm not the YA reader that I was when I first started getting into BookTube and getting into books. So this is definitely going to be one of the books I'm going to tackle in that vlog, but I do have some other choices for that vlog. The first of which going along with this like whimsical, prosy type of books that I do tend to enjoy, so hopefully I'll like them still in YA, is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. I've never read from McLemore before, but I have heard that they have this prosy writing style that I am looking for, so I'm hoping that I'll enjoy this one. And this is one of the first books I bought, along with The 13th Tale, actually, when I first heard of BookTube. I've just never been inclined to pick it up, so this is the vlog that I have to do it. If I don't do it, it's unhauled. Darn it, we were so close. Okay, so it's a couple of hours later. We fed, we burped, we changed, and now we're doing some independent play in the playmat while I rush through this. Okay, so I was talking about the YA books I want to read. When the Moon Was Ours. Got this a long time ago. Don't even know what it's about. So this book follows two best friends, Miel and Sam, and they are as strange as they are inseparable. Roses grow from Miel's wrists, and rumors say that she spilled out of a water tower when she was 5. Sam is known for the moons he paints and hangs in the trees, and for how little anyone knows about his life before he and his mother moved to town. But as odd as everyone considers Miel and Sam, even they stay away from the Bonner girls, 4 beautiful sisters rumored to be witches, who are now interested in Miel's skin because of the roses that grow from it, I assume, convinced that their scent can make anyone fall in love. Sounds like something I will like. Like, again, these are books that I think I will like, which is why I want to read them. I just put them off because they're YA. So this is definitely something I will be getting to. Then the last YA book I know will definitely be in this vlog is War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. This is another book that I've bought so long ago, man. These books, this is hardcover, so I must have bought it a year or two it came out, 2019. That makes sense to me. So the year is 2172. Climate change and nuclear disasters have rendered much of the earth unlivable. The lucky ones have escaped to newly formed space colonies, but those remaining are left to deal with the aftermath. A civil war breaks out between the Nigerians and the Biafrans over mineral-rich land that is wreaking havoc over the country. In a technologically advanced camp that serves as a refuge to former child soldiers and girls orphaned by the war, Onyi and her little sister Ifi are largely protected by the fighting. But all that changes when Nigerian soldiers intercept a signal from them. A bomb is dropped. Their home is decimated, and Onyi and Ifi are ripped apart, forced onto opposite sides of the conflict. Like, again, that sounds amazing and fascinating and something I feel like I'm really gonna like. I will also be making time for this one. Also, what a gorgeous cover, honestly. And then if I have time, I would like to finish out a duology. So another goal is obviously always to finish series, because like I've said in my finish a series vlogs, I bought so many series and I just never worked to really finish them, but I continue to buy the sequels. So The Storm of Life by Amy Rose Capetta is the finale in the duology of The Brilliant Death. Yes, a dramatic conclusion to the romantic gender-fluid fantasy duet that begins with The Brilliant Death. I really liked The Brilliant Death. It was LGBTQIA. It took place in Italy, which is a soft spot for me, obviously, and I really loved our main characters, specifically Theodora. So I'm excited to see how this duology finishes. Do I remember a lot about The Brilliant Death? No. Will I probably have to read a summary before I can jump into this? Yes, and you will find out in the vlog if I do end up reading this one. So this follows Theodora, as mentioned, and she has learned how to utilize her powers as a strega, and strega means witch in Italian, just so you know. And now she must use these powers that she's developed in order to defend her nation. But will fighting for her country mean risking the relationship and love that she has so truly wanted? I don't know. We'll see. I don't remember what The Brilliant Death is about, so I can't even tell you if I have any predictions. Then I have 4 books I need to finally complete the Our Fantasy Bingo of 2024. So the Our Fantasy Bingo finishes on April 1st every year. So I have 1 month left to knock out 4 squares on the bingo. Here is my current bingo card, and the 4 squares I need to complete are Under the Surface, which I will be tackling with Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. So this follows a sapphic duo, I'm pretty sure. Leah is a marine biologist, and she left for a routine expedition months earlier, only this time her submarine sank to the seafloor. When she finally surfaces and returns home, her wife, Miri, knows that something is wrong. Barely eaten and lost in her thoughts, Leah rotates between rooms in their apartment, running the taps morning and night. Whatever happened in that vessel, whatever it was the crew was supposed to be studying before they were stranded, Leah has carried part of it with her, onto dry land and into their home. As Miri searches for answers, desperate to understand what happened below the water, she must face the possibility that the woman she loves is slipping from her grasp. I heard this is horror. It's obviously a bit of literary fiction, but it takes place under the surface, which is the prompt for our fantasy. There you go. I'll be reading this one for the vlog. Then we have prologues and epilogues, I think is the next bingo square I'm missing. And for that, I'm going to be reading Empire of the Wild by Sherry Demeline. I love Sherry Demeline. One of her books is one of my favorite books of all time, The Marrow Thieves. I love that book. After reading that, much like I do, I buy everything that the author has ever written and then never pick it up. So we're going to fix that, and we're going to read her, I think, next published thing after the Marrow Thieves, which was the Empire of the Wild. And this follows a woman named Joan whose husband Victor has been missing for over a year. And Joan is drawn to a revival tent where the local Metsi have been flocking to hear a charismatic preacher. When she gets there, the service is over, but as she leaves, she hears an unmistakable voice, her husband, Victor. But the man insists that he is not Victor. He is Reverend Eugene Wolfe, on a mission to help bring people to Jesus. As she confronts him, there's no flicker of recognition in his eyes. Joan then sets out to find out who the Reverend really is, and if he's really Victor, his life and the lives of everyone she loves depends upon her success. So this is inspired by the traditional story of the Rougarou, and this is a creature that haunts the roads and woods of Metsi communities. I'm so excited to read this. I think it could be really, 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 really good. Like 5-star level, which is why I haven't read it, because I'm scared that it won't live up to the hype that I have in my head. But it has a prologue, it has an epilogue, and therefore we will be reading it. The next square I have is Goblins, Orcs, and Ogres Oh My, or something like that. And for that, I will be reading The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. I know nothing about this. This was suggested in the comments of like this recommendations that Reddit has for these squares in case you don't have a book that will cover it, and I did not for this. This follows the youngest half-goblin son of the emperor who has lived his entire life in exile, distant from the imperial court and its deadly intrigue. But when his father and 3 half-brothers in line for the throne are killed in an accident, he has no choice but to take his place as the only surviving rightful heir. Entirely unschooled in the art of court politics, he has no friends, no advisors, and the sure knowledge that whoever assassinated his father and brothers could make an attempt on his life at any moment. This sounds funny. It sounds very intriguing and fun in general. I'm very excited to read this. I hadn't heard about it until this challenge, and quite frankly, I think I'm going to absolutely devour this. And then the last square I have to complete is the Bard's square. I am able to complete the square. I want to make that clear with Krampus that I read last December, because it does follow a character who sings, which is the Bard. But for the hard mode on the Art Fantasy Bingo, so if you want to challenge yourself a bit more, the character itself has to refer to themselves as a bard. So for that, I got The Lark and the Wren by Mercedes Lackey, and this is the first book in the Bardic Voices series. So clearly this person is a bard. And let's find out what it's about. So with the proper schooling, young Rune would be one of the greatest bards her world has ever seen. Unfortunately, the daughter of a tavern wench at the Hungry Bear, no matter how talented, doesn't get much in the way of formal training. What she does get is frustrated. One night, to back up a brag she probably wouldn't have made if she weren't so mad, she went up to play her fiddle for the ghost of the Skull Hill. Everyone knows that no one who has ever gone up Skull Hill at night has come down again. Not alive anyway. But when the ghost appears, Rune strikes a bargain. If the ghost tires of her playing before morning, her life is his. If he is still listening when the sun glints over yonder hill, she will have earned both life and a sack of silver. Let the music begin. Sounds like it could be a good time. A ghost, a bard. We'll see. This is the only one that I'm a little bit fearful about reading, just because it doesn't sound the most intriguing to me as a book, but I'm willing to read it through because everybody suggested this in the comments of that and everybody recommended it. So I'm hoping that it's really good. I have the audiobook in case I need a little bit of help. But like I said, if I end up DNFing, I have this one crossed off with Krampus, so I'm not too worried about it. And then after all that, if I have time, there are 2 books that I would like to get to that go in line with my goals for the year. So one of those goals was to finish off my Brandon Sanderson TBR, and I'm slowly chipping my way through that, but I lost it in the month of February a bit. I was supposed to read The Lost Metal and I wasn't able to. This is the last book in the second half of the Mistborn trilogy that follows Wax and Wayne. The Mistborn trilogy follows people who are able to control magic through metals, and each metal that they consume has a different power. Wax and Wayne are in the second half of the Mistborn series. So the first half was like not medieval times, but like king and queen era. This is like, I would say like old London-y, cowboy type of era where they have guns. So that has made the Mistborn magic system really interesting. And Wax and Wayne are sort of like citizen lawmen. Currently, they are tracking down a group of individuals in society that are kidnapping people who have this power of allomancy in their bloodline. So this is the finale. I really need to read it. I've enjoyed the Wax and Wayne series. I think Wax and Wayne are really funny characters. I know it's not a big hit with people, but I'm excited to finish this out, and hopefully I will be able to do it this month. And then of course, if I have time, my read of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I'm just reading this so that I can finally get to the parts of the series that Brandon Sanderson wrote. As I mentioned, I want to read everything Brandon Sanderson has ever written, so part of that tackling was to take on the Wheel of Time. This is New Spring, so it is the prequel to the Wheel of Time series. So it follows Moraine and Lan before what ends up happening in the rest of the series. The Wheel of Time follows a group of kids who were sort of taken from their like small town living, because one of them is the Dragon Reborn, and the Dragon Reborn is this male born with powers that rival those that the Aes Sedai have. And the Aes Sedai are these group of women that have like powers. You could think of them sort of like witches. And so the Dragon Reborn is the male equivalent to like the leader of the men that are able to channel this power. They are not trusted with channeling power, which is why it's such a big deal. And Moiraine goes to the small town to get these 3 boys that have the Dragon Reborn power, and she's sort of like hoping to shape this child to be good. So the Dragon Reborn of this iteration is a good person, or she's able to like sort of prevent an evil, powerful individual. The Wheel of Time is just a circle that keeps happening, so that's why the Dragon Reborn keeps getting reborn, and she was able to like predict who it could possibly be. So this is the prequel. Apparently it's a lot better than the last few books that I've been reading, and that's all I can hope for. So that's it. Those are all of the books I hope to get to in the month of March. If you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know. And if you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. But with the impending doom of billionaires taking over every aspect of information that we receive in our lives, I've been feeling really icky about having social media. So it could be that there's links below when you're watching this video. It could not be. But follow me if you want, if they're there. And because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel, makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!